Today I'm going to be giving you a first impression on the Nike ZoomX Zegama Trail 2. Yes, that is a mouthful, but I assure you that entire name is printed on the shoebox. I actually took these out for a nice, quick, easy run yesterday to kind of get a feel for them. Today I'm taking them out on a little bit of a more moderate run. I'm not going to get into anything crazy. Try to go up and down a little bit. I'm not going to get to any deep water crossings yet. I know you all want to hear about the Vibram Megagrip outsole. I'm going to cover that in my full review. I'm going to go a little higher, get into some more creek crossings, a little bit more wet rock, give it a true test. I think it should work much better than version 1. So in this run, I'm going to focus more kind of on first impressions, how they feel right out of the box. I'm going to take a stop, walk you through the fit of the shoe, the sizing of the feel, how it feels compared to version 1. Like I said, nothing crazy, nothing technical today. Just get a feel for them. It's a good looking shoe, I have to say, straight out of the box. Really sleek, kind of stylish. I could see this being the soccer mom, soccer dad shoe, grocery store shoe of choice for that certain type of athletic, stylish person. Got a little bit of a spot here sheltered from the wind, so I am going to talk about the fit and sizing. I got a US 9.5 here. That's my typical Nike sizing and my typical true to size. Fit is perfectly true to size, just right. 9.5 works perfectly for me. It is a little bit on the narrowish side in the forefoot, I do have to say, similar to the Zegama 1. Now, there's enough space here, but the height over the top is a little bit shallow, and what I mean by that is this upper, there's not much space vertically, so it's really kind of pushing down on the top of your foot. So in combination with it not being overly wide, kind of just about right for my foot, with that shallowness over the top, I have to kind of leave the lower laces relaxed to get a comfortable fit. You'll see, I pretty much didn't tension these lower laces at all and just tightened up the top 1 or 2 rows on both feet, and then it feels comfortable. My first run, I snugged them down as I would typically do with most shoes, and I got too much squeezing pressure across my forefoot. It was giving me some hot spots in the bottom of my foot. So that's something to be aware of. If you have a narrow foot or a low volume foot, it won't be an issue, but if you have a wide foot or high volume in your forefoot, it might be a little squeezy in this area. In terms of taper, it's very nice and straight through here. It doesn't kind of get to this point and some shoes get to that little tapered point. These shoes are not like that, especially on the big toe side. It stays fairly straight, so there's no rubbing at all on the big toe side. Same on the pinky toe side. Nice and rounded, very comfortable. So again, if you have a low volume foot or not an overly wide foot, it will be perfectly fine for you. If you have kind of a normal foot like me, but you prefer space, you'll probably have to relax the lower lacing a little bit. In comparison to a shoe, Nike's other big shoe, the UltrAspire Trail, that has a really rounded forefoot, like even quite bulbous in front, very round, very wide across the forefoot. This is way narrower than the UltrAspire Trail. The UltrAspire Trail also has low volume across the top, but again, it really flares out and it's a really rounded, almost ultra topo-esque width toe box. This one's quite different, narrower, really strapped in. It's a gorgeous spring day, so figured I'd take a nice easy run here, take the shoes out for a spin. So I did splash through a little water back there. Not enough wet rock to actually test, obviously. Just kind of splashed through. Couldn't get really the outsole wet and then get onto a wet rock and see if it slipped. So that was not a real test. But wanted to talk about the midsole. Got a healthy slab of ZoomX foam. 36, 32, 4 mil drop. There's a firmer thin edge of carrier foam that surrounds the softer ZoomX. And that ZoomX foam, it really does feel pretty soft. Really in the middle of the foot, it feels very soft. I had to check and ask. I wasn't sure. Maybe they put a Zoom Air pod in there. It just feels so soft under the ball of the foot. Really like that. So you've got that soft ZoomX, you've got that carrier foam. When I kind of move my foot around, it does feel the edge of this foam comes up around the edges of the foot, and it is firmer. So I don't feel like I'm just gonna completely flop over if I'm articulating my foot in the shoe, and it feels that way on the trail. It's a soft, very soft, comfortable, cushy ride, but that carrier foam does keep it pretty stable. I'm just moving my foot around in the shoe right now, and sometimes, you know, you get to a certain tipping point with some shoes and they want to throw your foot. There's a bit of resistance here from the walls of the midsole, and also probably that firmer carrier foam. So the Zegama 2 in my US 9.5 weighs in at 11.1 ounces. That's definitely on the heavy side for my size. When I get to around past 10.5, certainly into 11 ounces for my height and weight, it starts to feel a little bit heavy. But I have to say, you are getting a healthy slab of cushion in that shoe. So you're not just getting a big, bulky brick of a shoe here. You're gonna have the weight, but at least you're getting some cushion. You're getting something for that weight. 4mm drop before. It's comfortable for me, but there's a high volume of foam under the heel. It feels really more oriented towards landing on the midfoot or really heel striking. 4-foot runners, you don't want to be too much up on your toes. You got the rocker up front there, but the cushioning is really centered from here to here. So when I head back down this hill, that should be pretty awesome in the Zegama 2. That should be nice and fun on descents. But on inclines, climbs, I do feel like I'm dragging a little bit of weight behind me. It's 11 ounces, and you know, I could see this slab of foam hanging off the back, and there's a lot more under the heel than I would need as a midfoot, 4-foot striker. So let's head back on down this hill. Should be fun. Splash through that little stream again and head on back. Also testing the Spry pack here from UltrAspire. Really loving this pack so far. 4-liter pack. As you can see, low body footprint. This mesh doesn't absorb water. What I like is you've got 4 solid size pockets, 2 overlapping pockets on each side of the chest, and you also have shoulder storage. So you got this one, stuff some gloves or a buff, small stuff. Put another one here. Put some chapstick, salt pills, whatever. And in the back you got the zippered pocket and a big pocket that's pretty solid with a hydration bladder. I've got one of their hybrid bottles here. Fits pretty good vertically when I don't need it all the time, just have a sip here or there. Typically I like to have a hydration bladder back there. I've got my Pixel 6a up here. Got a little mini tripod. I got my action cam on the other side, so I've been running with that stuff in there, and it's not been an issue at all. Perfectly secure. It's kind of warm out here today. Very breathable. Just really nice. So I'll have a full review on that coming up soon. So this is the terrain the Zegama eats up. Fire roads, gravelly, Slightly rocky, slight descent. Really mash that ZoomX foam. Save the good stuff for the end there. Hope you enjoyed that little montage. Testing some grip on some rocks there. Those rocks had a bit of texture to them. They weren't super smoothed out, slick rocks, but definitely felt very comfortable tilting on the edges of those rocks. Just getting the feel of the outsole felt night and day from Nike's typical outsoles. Zegama 1 definitely would have been dunked in the water a few times back there. Hope you enjoyed this review. Again, this is only the second run in this shoe. I'll be doing a full review coming up after I get a lot more miles in these. Definitely take them into some more rugged terrain, more stream crossings, more water. Feeling very confident about the new Vibram Megagrip outsole. I think it's going to be great. Catch you later.